I'm going to do a video today on headlight lens restoration. And as we can see on this vehicle, the signal light lens over here is nice and clear, and the headlight lens has that very common issue of that cloudy covering over it. And if we go over here, we see that the same issue is on the passenger side. So here's the kit I'm going to use. I suspect they're all generally pretty much the same. This has a sanding disc that you attach to a drill, regular household drill, to use it. Not going to bother saying the manufacturer's name of this product, but if anybody wants to use the exact same one that I have here, a little hint is in the name of this there is a number and a letter. So the first thing the instructions tell me to do is wash the lens with soapy water. I'll do that and then rinse it off. And I've popped the hood because we're going to have to mask around the paint here, and by popping the hood, that's one part we won't have to put masking tape on. Next thing we want to do is take some tape and mask around the edge of the paint, just so that when we're going with our drill, if we go over the edge, we're not tearing up the vehicle paint. You're going to want to use masking tape. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any handy, so I'm going to use black electrical tape. And there's my professional masking job done. And this kit comes with a disc pad holder. Kind of neat. It's got Velcro on that side of it. Anyway, instructions tell me first thing to do is to put the disc pad holder into the drill. Tighten that up. This kit, by the way, was $32 in Canada. So this kit appears to be pretty straightforward. I like the way it's laid out. The instructions tell me to put the P500 sandpaper on the sanding disc, and there it is marked P500 on the back of it, and it also mentions that it's gold colored, so I think it'd be pretty hard to get this screwed up. So I'll just put that on there. By the way, when you're doing this, don't have your drill plugged in. Get it all set up with your sanding disc on there, and then plug your drill in so you don't accidentally hit the button and give your fingers a little scrape. And then it tells me to keep the disc as flat as possible and without applying too much pressure to sand across the lens. And I head in the wrong direction. And it tells me I can rub the disc off with paper towel if it starts getting clogged up. If that doesn't work, I'll just put another disc on it. So, according to the instructions, a slow and steady back and forth movement is supposed to be most effective here. And you keep going with the P500 grit paper on the end of the drill until all the yellowing is gone. So I've actually been going at this for quite a while here. It's starting to look better. Well, I gotta say, that was a lot more sanding than I expected. But I've used multiple P500 discs here, and I keep wiping it off with the cloth. They say paper towel in the instructions, but it says when I have an evenly frosted look on the lens, it's time to move on to the next step. So I'm suspecting that that's the look that they're referring to. And now the instructions tell me to take the P500 sanding disc off. I used a couple of these, just doing the one headlight. And then to put the P800 disc on. And we'll see what this P800 does. So, according to the instructions, the scratches should be finer now. It actually does feel that way. So apparently, according to the instructions, I keep going with the P800 sanding disc until there's no coarse scratches. Really should have gone and got a clean piece of paper towel. And I don't think there's any coarse scratches in that now. We'll move on to the next step. So the instructions tell me next step is to remove that sanding disc and put the gray one on, which they call the P3000. And now apparently I'm supposed to dampen the headlight lens. This is just a bottle of water. And the sanding disc. Hopefully that's not too much water. And now we go at it again. I should have put gloves on, incidentally, so you might want to do that. Looks like we're making some headway here. So hopefully you can see this on the lens. The instructions tell me that I might see a white slurry, they call it, over the film of the lens, and after we see that, to continue going another 4 to 6 passes. So I'm going to assume that that's the slurry they're talking about. They don't really tell me to clear it off, but I'm going to not dry it off too much, and then I'll go the 4 to 6 passes that they're talking about. I gotta say, this is really cleaning up good. So I'm going to count that as one pass over the whole headlight, and I'll do that another 3 or 4 times. So there's my other 4 to 6 passes. We can see there was quite a buildup of that slurry they refer to it as. So next step, is attach the next disc. So we remove that gray one, and in this unit they say to put on the orange foamy one, and I'm actually going to spray that off and clean it too, dry that. Next step for this kit is put a dime size amount of the headlight polish on the orange foamy disc. And don't use my bad example, put your gloves on before you start this. And then before you turn the disc on, you're supposed to move that polish around. I guess there'll be less splatter if you do it this way, and then polish it. Then wipe it clean. I gotta say, that came out really good. And we'll remove that masking tape and give the vehicle paint around the edges, a little cleaning with some soap and water. And that's the end of this video, and I gotta say, there's quite a difference.